Michael, welcome to myprintresource.com.
Thank you.
How's GRAPH EXPO doing for you this year?
GRAPH EXPO is great for us. We've had a lot of traffic in our booth and a lot of optimism from the people that have been visiting.
I was going to comment, it has been seemingly a pretty good setup so far the last couple of days.
I think there's a lot of traffic. We had very great weather and the industry's on an uptick and people are wanting to spend some money, and that's great.
Well, the association recently put out some very encouraging economic news. Can we talk about that?
Sure. Well, we're obviously very excited to see that after the calamitous times that we've come through, to see the industry actually coming on an uptick. And so in 2011, the industry actually grew, and for the first time in a long time, we had more printers that were reporting that they were profitable than not. So our ratios results
Isn't that a wonderful sign?
And that's really fantastic. As a matter of fact, 7 in 10 printers reported that they were profitable last year, so that's very, very encouraging.
The association that you represent has had a long history in political affairs. What do you see the near future to be?
Well, we have an election coming up, which is very critical.
Do.
Make sure that you get out and vote.
Right.
It's important no matter what party, just make sure you get out and vote. But we have some tough decisions, and clearly one of the issues that we're dealing with is the Postal Service, whether it'll survive. 50% of everything that we produce goes in the postal stream, and so having an effective post office is really critical. So we've been working very hard and have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in lobbying dollars to make sure that we can get this point across, to have meaningful postal reform legislation that will provide a post office that will be here in 5 to 10 years.
Does the so-called fiscal cliff, does that have meaning for you and your members, or does it not?
Sure. I mean, the fiscal cliff impacts all Americans, impacts all businesses, impacts everyone that's concerned about the country, and so we're very much concerned about that. I'm confident that our elected leaders will come to some kind of a resolve, no matter what party gets into the White House. I think it's going to be critical that we focus on getting people back to work and business back again in the United States of America.
Is there any particular challenge that faces the printing industry?
Well, we have the perpetual challenge of being the sleeping giant, people not realizing just how significant our industry is and how important we are. We have a lot of myths associated with us, which is why we produce this fantastic Value of Print flip book, which dispels many of the myths and really lets our puff up our chest and talk about just how significant the printing industry is.
That was a very interesting topic in an earlier interview that we had with one of your representatives, particularly as it deals with the atmosphere and everything else that has come to bear on the printing industry, and printing kills trees and all of this other stuff.
Which of course it doesn't.
Of course it doesn't. Right. Exactly right. But yet it presents you with a challenge in countering that particular attack.
And we're going to have much more of these type of campaigns to talk about the value of print, the effectiveness of print. It's not just that print is green, which it is, but it's also very effective. The return on the investment is substantial. And as we change into this multimedia environment, one of the biggest challenges for companies will be to make sure that they understand that they're relevant and that print can be used with other forms of media with very effective campaigns. And so that's going to be one of the exciting things we're going to be introducing in 2013, which is going to be an integrated print media center, which is going to focus on all this integration and how printers can get into that mix.
Is there any particular piece of equipment or platform or software that's really intrigued you that you've seen this year?
Well, if I did that, I'd get into a lot of trouble with all the vendors. There's many pieces of equipment, and
it's amazing the technology that's been input into this industry, as it has so many others, but particularly in the last couple of years, and digital and everything else, it's just basically exploding.
And this is the place to come. Obviously, GRAPH EXPO and print next year, it really highlights all the technology, and you really need to be there, because if you're not there, you're not going to make it.
And you have to stay abreast of all these changes as well, particularly if you want to compete in today's marketplace.
Right. Which is another great reason why you belong to an organization like Printing Industries of America, because we help our members understand the technology trends and what's coming on down the pike.
Michael, appreciate you
taking
the time.
Sir. Nice to meet you.
Say hello.
All right.
And wish you well for
Thank you.
GRAPH EXPO 2012.